Don't mind me. I'm just enjoying my patented nostalgia goggles, which allows me to see the world in a rose-tinted light.
Oh joy, back to the hour-long episodes of the Twilight Zone. Luckily, this one is pretty decent, as it feels like a classic Twilight Zone tale, but one that you can also watch or skip, as it repeats some elements from better entries. This episode is an old-school comeuppance story, which totally fits in with the show's world, but is also a deal with the devil plot, which even on the Twilight Zone has been done a bit better. We follow a dillweed jerk of a CEO named William J. Feathersmith, who has successfully rose to the top of the corporate ladder, yet feels incomplete as all the money in the world and his sadistic joy of kicking down poor people can never fill that emptiness inside. The writer, this time Rod Serling, ensures you totally hate his guts as he crushes several businesses, fire poor schmoes left and right without a care in the world, and even keeps his janitor, who's the same age as him, around the office to tease because he never made something of his life like he did after both came from the same town.
Asshole!
Yep, this guy is king of the douche. He's so douchey that one night he's summoned by the devil, who offers him a magic wish to fill that hole inside in exchange for his soul. Remember how we enjoyed the Penguin as the devil? Well, that's about to be outclassed because we get to see Catwoman as the devil, Julie Newmar. One of my top 10 Catwomen plays a hot, sexy female version of Satan, dubbed Miss Devlin, and she's the highlight of this tale.
Let's send you back to Cliffordville, the Cliffordville of years ago, and you can start all over again. Acquire, build, consolidate. How does that sound?
As far as I can tell, Julie Newmar was one of the earliest actresses to portray Satan, as most female demons were usually underlings, or a temporary form the Prince of Darkness shapeshifts into. Newmar does a damn fine job at it, even putting Morgan to shame. Sexy Catwoman Devil basically offers him a chance to replay his game of life by sending him back in time to 1910 Cliffordville, his old hometown, to re-experience his rise as an entrepreneur once more. But this time, he'll retain all his memories, money, and knowledge of the future, so he can make big business decisions knowing how greatly they'll succeed later in time. Meaning, he can be even more richer and powerful than ever.
Yes! The rich get richer.
Eager to not only win more moolah than ever, Willie truly wants to relive his big hits again. Of course, the idiot agrees, and he's sent back to the past, where he's on top of the world for a short time, before the Twilight Zone irony springs. When everything seems to be coming up Milhouse, the grim reality sinks in that the past isn't the perfect memory he recalled. He spends a huge portion of his money on land containing oil, only to realize that it's completely useless because the oil drilling tech we have now doesn't exist yet. His ideas for future inventions get rejected because the tech to create it doesn't exist yet. His stocks instantly plummet in value. He realizes that a hot chick he used to crush on is a total bow wow, and he comes to grips with the harsh truth that he was never a good entrepreneur. As Catwoman puts it, he's not a creator, he's a businessman. Feathersmith only became so rich and powerful because he built his fortune on the backs of others, whom he took advantage of, something he learned from others before his ego blinded him with his future success. This leads to the best moment of the episode, where Devil Catwoman gives Feathersmith the reasons you suck speech, once he ends up a penniless bum with nothing to show for himself.
You wanted it as it was. That was a specific clause in the contract. It's really not my fault that your memory is so imperfect. Your problem, Mr. Feathersmith, is that you leaped before you looked.
This episode has a rather nice lesson in humility, as our bumbling prick is given his karma when it gets beaten into him that he was never as great as he believed, and that years of hard work only make your character, which he never had. The past is not the way he remembered. He simply had his nostalgia glasses on the whole time, and pictured it the way he wanted, when he should have been grateful with what he had now. I definitely enjoy that old school charm of a dickhead receiving his karma, since this episode goes into detail why what's happening to him is his own fault, making it a tad more effective than generic takes. Catwoman offers Feathersmith a way out where he can get back to the future, but warns him that his trip here will affect the timeline. But he doesn't care, so she'll give him the escape clause for $40, where Feathersmith races to find whomever will buy his useless land, managing to sell it to some Randy. However, once he returns to the present, he also encounters our twist ending. It turns out that the random guy he sold off his useless oil land to was the ancestor of the janitor he abused. When his family got the tech to finally drill for that oil, they became rich as hell, and now the loser janitor is the head CEO of Feathersmith's company, while the old dick CEO is his lowly janitor who wasted his life cleaning up his castle.
Now that is irony.
Feathersmith lost it all on a gamble he overestimated, and learned a harsh lesson, courtesy of the Twilight Zone. Overall, this tale's fine, yet I don't view it as one of the biggest hits due to some production issues. This episode has easily some of the worst age makeup I've ever seen. William Feathersmith and the janitor are clearly played by younger guys in bad old man makeup, and it shows. How did the same series which gave us the epic Long Live Walter Jameson have such fake-looking elderly faces and spray-painted gray hair? Also, much like most of the hour-long episodes, it's painfully obvious that this tale was supposed to be a 30-minute plot, which was forced to extend the runtime. This episode drags in a few areas, and can get boring the longer some pointless scenes go on. No Kitten, it's not until the halfway point where the protagonist time warps to Cliffordville. So much time is dedicated to establishing the plot points and dragging out the deal with the devil concept. I love seeing Julie Newmar ham it up, but it totally feels like a different episode when we at last reach Cliffordville. These are just small potatoes, but otherwise the story is alright, and just plain fun. I give it a gold skull, but just barely. Its insane plot is made fun thanks to the charming performances, the over-the-top insanity, a simple lesson to appreciate, and best of all, sexy Catwoman. Truly a wild visit you'll always think of when you remember the Twilight Zone.
You are such a totally abject, unhappy-looking creature that I can't find it in my, wherever you find the heart to leave you here.
The Twilight Zone.